It has been a very busy few days of fast-breaking news, and earlier today, Washington Post national security correspondent Greg Miller offered his own assessment of what Russia might make of all of it. Quote, if Russia is keeping score on what it won, lost in 2016, does this count as a win streak? In a span of days, Trump talks hoax with Putin, says he's with Kim Jong-un, sends Dow tumbling on a tariff threat, seeks to block Mueller, claims 2 years of presidency stolen. With us for more is Greg Miller, Pulitzer Prize-winning national security correspondent for The Washington Post. He is the author of The Apprentice, Trump, Russia, and the Subversion of American Democracy. Greg, thank you for taking a few minutes. Let me start. You have an interesting piece up, and I want to take this in two pieces with you, because you look at Putin's reaction to what we have all been absorbing here in terms of the news in the United States from the Mueller report, and specifically what it documents about Russia's interference campaign in 2016. He's very dismissive. He sniffs at it. You say it's a self-serving assessment that fails to acknowledge the significant cost to Moscow. At the same time, you say that there is a consensus emerging in the national security community that this was overall a win for Putin. So let me take the two individual pieces here. Sure. First, when you say there have been significant costs for this interference campaign that Moscow has endured, what are those significant costs? Well,
Moscow is under greater sanctions now than it was at the start of the Trump presidency. It's more isolated, I think. I think that it's you have actually, more broadly in Washington, outside the White House, beyond the Oval Office, you have much more sort of bipartisan concern about Russia and its behavior in the world than you might have had 3 or 4 years ago. Russia's economy has not gotten any stronger. There are costs. There are things that Russia really wanted out of a Trump presidency that it has not gotten. And I would put sanctions at the top of that list. Okay, so those are the downsides for Russia. Yeah. You're saying, though, overall, consensus emerging that it was a win for them overall. Why is that? Well, when you go back and look at the U.S. intelligence agency's assessment of what happened in 2016 and what Russia's overarching objectives were, they were to sow discord and the American-style democracy, Western-style democracy. And the sort of the dysfunction that we see in Washington, and we've just come through 2 years of an investigation, a paralyzing investigation of Russian interference, and whether Trump had colluded, the Trump campaign had colluded with the Kremlin. We've come out of that, and we're still fighting about it, right? We're still, even now that it's over, fighting about whether Mueller will be allowed to testify, whether Barr will face contempt hearings in Congress. I mean, these are things that are distracting the United States from other areas where it could focus its energies, and that is to Russia's advantage. It makes the United States look dysfunctional, look feckless, look like it can't really get its act together, and that, according to U.S. spy agencies, was one of the main goals. So I wonder, with all of that in mind, what you make of the big question that everybody's asking, which is, will Russia seek to do this again in 2020? If they have endured some significant costs from doing it in 2016 and presumably would absorb the same costs, maybe worse, by trying to do it again, is there a scenario where Putin looks at it and says, look, I sowed discord, they're going to be talking about me through 2020 anyway, so better not chance it? Or do you think they will do it again? I mean, I think that most experts I talk to believe that, of course, Russia will learn from this. The lesson it will take is that we had a huge impact. Russia had a huge impact for a relatively minor investment. Why would you not try to replicate that? Now, there were things about 2016 that were kind of a perfect storm for Russia to have an impact even beyond Russia's expectations. And there were motivating factors in 2016, including Putin's a real disdain for, real dislike of Hillary Clinton that animated him and that animated this active measures campaign that Russia mounted. Those will be missing. And you would also hope that we as Americans are a bit smarter now, that the social media companies that we all spend so much of our lives on are better at getting rid of disinformation, at spotting Russian propaganda and protecting us from it. You would hope that that's the case.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.